Hey guys, Fort Civic, and today I'm going to be doing a review / deep analysis of the 4K physical transfer release of the Joker on 4K Blu-ray. Now, before I get in, I'm going to be doing a giveaway of the Best Buy Steelbook exclusive release of 4K Blu-ray of the Joker. This is the copy that I would be giving away, and this is my personal copy. I wanted to show you guys what you'd be getting if you won, which is what inside. This is the Joker as he's putting on his makeup before he goes onto the Maury Show, close to the climax of the end of the film. And then this is him towards the end of the film as well, where he's on the stairway and he does his little dance and jig. And on the inside, I have the 4K disc inside right now because I'm going to show you guys a couple of clips from the film that were my favorite. But this is the regular Blu-ray disc, which is black, and then the 4K Blu-ray disc is red, and then you also get a digital code for the Joker as well. I have mine turned around because I haven't used it yet. And then, as I said, this is the copy that the person will win. So for this one, I would like you guys to either say your favorite scene from the movie, or something you just really like about the Joker, and then put your Instagram username below, and I will next week pick a winner at random and DM them. So let's hop right in. The film was shot with 3 different cameras ranging from the ARRI Alexa 65 camera to the ARRI Alexa mini-series camera. The lenses that were used were the ARRI Rental Primes, and the film was shot in 3.4, 4.5, and 5.1K. And the film was digitally shot. But where does a movie that doesn't utilize flashy special effects or jaw-dropping wide back shots like Star Wars or something like Marvel or even any other movie you see, like these flashy movies, where does a comic book movie like the Joker come in and wow the audience? And that it does with its meticulous detail. Lawrence Sher, the cinematographer, and what his crew was able to pull off was phenomenal. There is shots where Arthur will literally just be walking up the stairs. The character that Mr. Phoenix plays, Arthur Fleck, he would just be like walking up the stairs, or he'd be walking down the stairs, or the first time he puts on his red polyester suit, or he's lighting up a cigar, standing in the photo booth, on the train. Everything is meticulously detailed, and it showcases here in its 4K native release. Now, in recent time, I don't think there's been many movies that have been released natively in 4K. Most movies these days are shot in, as I said, 3.5 and like 4K and like even above. Like I know Stranger Things is recorded in 6K, but obviously the only thing that we have is the Netflix native 4K release, and that is with compression. But here, showcased on the physical release of the Joker is phenomenal. There's details that I didn't even think I'd be able to see, from when Arthur Fleck is putting on his makeup and you can see every single, and I know like when people said like when 1080p came out, and like even like the other day I went to Best Buy and I saw like an 8K TV, it just didn't even look, my mind is still grasping that. But like the detail is ridiculous. Like you can see every single pore on his face, every single pore, and it's like you can see the straggly hair where everything was cut. There's one part where it's really disgusting, but he takes the paint and he puts it on his tongue, and I swear you can see like every individual dot that you can like on his tongue. Another thing that I really like about the film is, again, as I said, this is not like a Marvel film or whatever where you have Iron Man or Thor and like all their suits and all the flashy CGI or whatever. There's none of that. So what it has to do is with costume design and makeup, and like it's so ridiculous watching a movie and seeing the lint on the people's clothes, and then like as they turn each and every direction you can see the specific threads, and then also the mannerisms of the character. And oh my goodness, I have some clips that I'm going to be showcasing during this video. But this movie, like when I went to go see it in the theater, I was like, okay, this looks good. And I had the OLED at this time. I think I got it back in July, August, I think sometime that time. But I was like watching the movie and I was like, oh my gosh, I cannot wait for 4K release. Like, I think it was like already a fourth through the movie and I was like, this movie is about to be phenomenal. But like, I was like, I can't wait for the 4K release. And I thought like it'd be good. And like, you know, there's some other 4K releases, like even like, what's an example? Like Far From Home. It's a good movie. It looks really good in theater, but obviously it looks better on 4K release. But it's not like crazy phenomenal. It doesn't look like Blade Runner, which I don't know. I don't know if Blade Runner or Joker looks better. I watched Blade Runner a while ago before I got the 4K OLED. I watched it on a 4K TV, but on an OLED, I don't know if Joker or this one wins. So what got me most excited about watching the movie next to the picture perfect quality was the perfect blacks that the OLED would be able to achieve. And it was crazy. It was like I was making a marker of like every shot in the movie that would look really good with OLED, and that there was like the grayish or the brownish like type of background when you're watching on a projector in the theater. And I had the scene where Arthur thinks he's on the Maury Show at the beginning of the movie and he imagines himself, and Maury says like, I wish I had a son like you and all that stuff like that. And when I watch on OLED, of course, it looked phenomenal. And another thing is like, I love how like, I don't know who did the color grading and the rendering of like the official, like, I think that's what it's called, the color grading and the rendering. I think it's color grading and the rendering. I might be wrong, but whoever made the 4K transfer, the actual 4K transfer that was going to be on the Blu-ray release. Whoever did that did a phenomenal job. You're watching the movie and you're like, there's a black backdrop and you're like, okay, I want all the picture perfect blacks. And there is there, and it's there utilized perfectly. There's no detail loss. There'll be some things where there'll be like a little object in the background, like the shafters, or like little things where you think will get washed out or will disappear with the blacks, but no, it's still there. Like, they did a really good job on this movie. And one of my favorite scenes in the movie was the train scene where Arthur Fleck has lost his car to the black lady that had her kid laughing at the beginning. Arthur Fleck had the kid laughing, and the lady was like, stop talking to my kid. And then he handed a card saying that he had a disorder, that he couldn't stop laughing. And she kept his card, and that was the card that he had in his pocket. And he had multiple cards, and he also had them in the bag, but the prep boys are like teasing him. They don't really realize why he's laughing, and then he's trying to reach for the card, and they just start like stomping into him. But what's crazy is, during that scene, I believe this movie takes place during the 80s, and like the lighting on the actual subway keeps going in and out, and it's like the screen turns off for a second, then it turns back on, it turns off, it turns on, and oh my gosh, it looks so good, so good. Another scene that I really like is towards the end of the movie when Arthur puts on the polyester red suit. Is he presses on the elevator and then he turns around for the quick second, and then you see him, he's in the full makeup, the full suit, and then the elevator closes, the screen goes black for a second, then it opens up with the beautiful iconic, which you've seen memes, you've seen pictures of him doing his just crazy dance on the staircase. And that's one of the scenes where like, there's not a lot of scenes in the movie. Like, I mean, HDR really does a good job with like shadow detail and other things like that. But here at that scene, there is, first of all, as I was saying, detail out the wazoo. On the stairs, you can see like the little damages. There's graffiti on the wall. There's a reflection going off the little windows you can see. The costume design is beautiful. The water effects as he's dancing in the puddles. And I like that. I mean, I know what some people like to do is, or maybe they don't really do it in like movies, but they do it in games a lot, where like the actor or the character will like splash in the water and it'll show up on the camera, but the water splashes, it comes straight towards the camera, but you don't see like the water go down the camera, which I really like. Keep that nice, gritty, real, humanized feel. There's the reflection going off of his brown shoes. As I said, his hair. Oh, there's another scene I really like where That's Life is playing and he's like putting all the green thing in it, the green coloring in his hair. Then as the police officers towards the end of the movie, they do that little chase and he's running across the street, gets hit by the car. You can see all the detail, and I know it's gonna sound silly, but there's like a pile of like garbage bags, but this movie does such a good job when it comes to detail. Everything just looks meticulously done. Like it's crazy to me that, I mean, I know not everybody's like making like these super high blockbuster movies, but it's so crazy that with Lawrence Sher and then Todd Phillips, like, and I don't even think the budget was, I mean, compared to high blockbuster films. I believe the budget for the Joker was $50 million, which is just phenomenal what they did with it. And then there's the scene, which I think is probably, and I mean, I might be speaking hyperbole here, but for me anyway, I think it's one of the most iconic movie scenes of all time when he's on the Maury Show and he keeps pronouncing Murray, and then he's like the knock knock jokes. He kisses the lady at the beginning, he does the spinning, and what really, oh man, this movie is just phenomenal. But I like the shot when first he's practicing his dance at home before he like goes on the show. But when he goes on the show, they do his little dance and you see all that. And then they move on to the shot of the CRT TV. And you see a CRT TV and like even, it's weird because it's a CRT TV and the resolution is like really low for CRT TVs, but you're watching on a 4K TV, you're watching the CRT TV, then it crosses over and it perfectly shoots over into the actual shot of him dancing on the show. And I'm really kind of late in this. The movie's also shot, I believe, at a 1.85/1 aspect ratio, 35 millimeters, I believe. I think I might be correct on that front. I think in some theaters it's actually released in the 70 millimeter. But what that means is you're not getting the black bars. And it's weird because it's like, you'll be watching movies and during like some scenes, they'll do the whole 35 millimeter. Like one of my favorite movies is The Dark Knight, and I love during the hit me scene, right before where the helicopter's flying, the whole screen opens up. And I love like the entire movie is that way. And it's just, you get to see everything. There's nothing high. It's like, oh, we're not gonna put something in the backdrop or something that you can't see. It's like, it's all there flashy for you to see. And again, with the detail, like I've never seen blood crazily like in person, but if I thought I was looking at real blood, if any movie tricked me into thinking I was looking at real blood, it would be The Joker, when there's one scene where Arthur Fleck has blood all over his face. And it's crazy. There's not just the blood all over his face, but there's also this specific lighting. As you can see, like the lighting comes from the outside of the room and the lighting from the inside of the room and reflects off of the blood in just this like beautiful way. And the resolution is so high. And then the movie like closes out with Arthur Fleck in a jumpsuit, a white jumpsuit. And it's just super zoomed in on his face. And you have that nice gritty, like he's kind of growing like aftershave. You can see every single strand of hair like growing from his face, and it just looks so good, man. I love when somebody does a good 4K transfer of a film. If I had to give it a score, I would definitely give it at least a 9.6 out of 10. I don't know if I'd given a 4K release a 10 out of 10. 2001 Space Odyssey, oh my gosh. I think that might be the only, but I don't know. Blade Runner, 2001 Space Odyssey, and Joker now for me are top 3. I don't know which order to put them in. Another thing before I close out, the audio quality is amazing. The audio quality is amazing. The voices are well kept. There's not any loud explosions. There's a couple of gunshots that go off and it's pretty loud during those parts. But the reverb And it's like crazy because I've been like, I reorganized my room a little, so I have some stuff kind of like sitting on like the edge of stuff. And the score of the movie is phenomenal, but that's where like the bass starts like kicking in. Like what's a movie with like Dunkirk? That's how the room like shakes when the score is like blaring at very pivotal scenes. If I had to give an audio quality a rating overall, like from voice to sound effects, I'd give it an 8.9, just because everything sounds ridiculously clear. Like the voice acting, well, not voice acting, but the dialogue during the movie sounds crystal clear. The gunshots and different things, like not explosions, but the fire and everything, it sounds pretty realistic. Everything sounds real, and I love a comic book movie where everything sounds grounded, realistic, and humanized. So when it comes to audio quality, 8.9, and when it comes to picture quality, 9.6, 9.7, somewhere in between that range. Movie's like really good. Another thing is like when I was watching the movie in the theater, there was like a lot of film grain. They took a lot of, I believe they took a lot of that film grain off for the digital, the physical release. Like it's crystal clear. So again, thanks for watching. Name's Lord Civic. For the giveaway, as I was saying, make sure to put what you liked about the movie or pivotal scenes you really like, what you like about the Joker if you haven't seen the movie, and your Instagram username at the bottom. And also make sure to also follow me on Instagram at Lord Civic. It's the same as my YouTube ID. I'll put it down below in the description, but it's the same. There's just not a space in between it. And if you guys would like to win, just make sure to sign up. Even if you don't win, as I was saying, this is probably one of the best 4K releases. So if you're an avid physical collector, especially of Steelbook, I'd highly recommend it. Again, thanks for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe. Hope you guys have a good day.